Steam Deck, Steam Deck, Steam Deck. What the heck is going on, guys? The Steam Deck seems to be finding its way into so many different conversations, and I know that as the time goes on, I get more and more excited the more I think about it. So I want to talk to you guys about the Steam Deck itself, what it is, what it means, and most importantly, if you're going to reserve yourself an opportunity to pre-order one, which one should you reserve? Because believe it or not, it makes a difference. So let's jump into it. My name is Julien Melnick, and this is the Console Gaming Channel. That's right, we're button mashers and thumbstick thrashers, and here to have a good time playing video games. Guys, the Steam Deck has been really impressing me the more and more I look into it, and it's not just because the hardware itself is actually impressive, but it's because gaming is changing to my favorite style, which is portable. I've always been a huge portables fan, and to see something like the Steam Deck come out excites me beyond belief. So what is the Steam Deck? It's not a laptop, it's not necessarily a console, because it does get shipped with Steam's operating system, which allows you to pretty much plug and play. You log into your Steam account, you have your games that are already there, ready to go, and you can play them. Or if you're someone who's a little bit more technologically savvy, you can wipe the machine of its operating system and install a Windows operating system on it, or a version of it at least. I think it's like an emulated version. At any rate, you can get this thing up and running in a different style of operating system, which is pretty cool. I personally am just gonna keep with SteamOS because I'm getting this thing to play some of those crazy indies that were talked about at E3. So this is the basics of the Steam Deck itself. It looks similar to a Nintendo Switch with a few alterations, some additional buttons that you'll find on the back of the machine itself, like paddles, but not, they're just buttons. And the Joy-Cons that are removable on the Switch are not removable on the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck also doesn't ship with a dock, though a dock does exist, allowing you to plug it into a monitor or put it onto a television. The Steam Deck itself finds its way into people's homes sometime at the end of this year, or for most people, sometime next year. So let's jump into the three options that we have. Before we do so, if you're finding value, as always, you can subscribe. If you want to be part of the bell gang, you nudge it. You just nudge that little bell icon, and what happens is you get notified every time a video comes out, and you will be a part of the bell gang. Pretty rad stuff. You'll be the first to comment if you can make it. I know there's a few people fighting for that spot, and you also will always be in the loop. Okay, so the Steam Deck itself comes in three different models. Those three models, hardware-wise, differ by two different things. The storage capacity is increased throughout each model. I'm not gonna go into tech specs. The only technical spec I will go into is the storage capacities and the storage styles. On the entry-level Steam Deck, we'll cover a few things here. First off, it has 64 gigabytes of internal storage, and that internal storage is flash-style storage. It's similar to what we have on the Nintendo Switch. Let's use the comparison of the two types of storage as a highway. On a highway, you enter the highway and you have a one-lane highway versus a multi-lane highway, let's say 3 or 4 lanes. They both have the same speed limits, give or take 5 miles an hour, so really you can go the same speed. And a car that you're in is an application. So they both can travel at the same speed. Where the SSD, the solid state drive that we find in the 256 gig model and the 512 model differ is they have multiple lanes for you to do multiple things at that speed. Whereas the other model only has one lane, and as you need to do more things, it kind of gets backed up and you get a little bit of traffic jam and it slows down and gets bogged down. Is it noticeable? Potentially, but realistically, that 64 gig model is for a very specific user. So let's talk about who that user is. The user is someone who wants to dabble with this, who wants to figure it out, wants to see what it's like, and doesn't really want to get too invested in Steam's way of purchasing games. Steam is a service where you can purchase games, and it exists in the library, in the Steam library, and you can play all your games on your computer or on the Steam Deck itself. It's pretty cool. Now, here's the deal. That 64 gig option, you can expand the storage. There is a micro SD slot. You can put that in any of the systems, but the internal is at that 64 gigs. Let's get into the middle option. The middle option is where I think most people are going to find themselves. That's 256 gigs of internal memory, and that is SSD. So it's gonna be a little bit faster, that solid state drive. You will find yourself being able to do more things and not really feel the limitations or not really feel any sort of bogging down of that information transfer speed. Now, here's the deal. 256 gigs is 4 times the amount of 64. That is awesome. That is a great amount of storage on that machine. I still would recommend getting an external micro SD card to put into that port. I recommend it across the board. Having space is always nice. That option to get that 256 is perfect when it comes to someone who is looking to play maybe a couple AAA titles, potentially has a bigger Steam library, wants to really try to use this thing for more than just a casual gameplay, does really want to invest in this style of gaming, does want to experience PC gaming on a portable platform like the Steam Deck, I think this is gonna be a really good option. This is also a good option for someone who's deciding to wipe the Steam Deck clean and install another or a different version of an operating system on there. I think that the 256 is the minimum option you're gonna wanna get when it comes to doing that sort of thing. So with the 512 option, it also, along with having a high-speed SSD, so a little bit faster than the middle of the pack one, it also has an anti-reflective coating on the display cover itself. So you are gonna have a little bit of a change to the exterior hardware. Where it does make that difference is that internal storage. That is going to really make a huge difference for someone who is planning on using this a lot, for someone who does have an extensive library, for someone who wants to really lean into some AAA titles and put that Steam Deck through its paces. Also for someone who is gonna boot into a different operating system, wipe it clean, turn this thing into a really powerful little mini computer. I mean, they're going to want to experiment. They are a little bit more tech savvy. They're looking to really push the boundaries of what this thing can do. That 512 option is gonna be an awesome one for them. I don't think most people who are looking to get this device are going to need that 512 option. It is so specific. The same thing is, I don't think a lot of people should get the 64 gig option. I think that 256 is such a beautiful middle ground. So that's the one I got. That's the one I'm gonna get. I'm paying full price for it. I'm not paid to say any of this. And honestly, I can't wait to get it so I can really give it a good, honest review and see if it is going to live up to the expectation I have, which is pretty low. The expectations I have is that it's going to allow me to play PC games on a handheld device well. And that's all I want. So let me know in the comments if you're gonna be getting the Steam Deck, and let's keep this conversation going. Find some friends in the comments. Let's get this community growing. Join our Discord so we can talk, we can play games together because we do that a lot, and hop into some of the evening streams every Tuesday and Thursday, sometime after 7 p.m. Pacific time. We're doing streams. Keep up to date in our community tab because we talk a lot. Every day we're talking about something in our community tab, but most of all, happy gaming.